Castor oil penetrates deeper than any other oil, and wherever it penetrates it can break up lumps, bumps, adhesions. So great for cysts in the breast, for breast cancer, great for irritable bowel, great for constipation. It's very good at breaking up stones in the gallbladder, kidney stones, bone spurs.
Castor oil is great at going deeper into the body than other oils, making it very good at breaking up different internal blockages.
Now, to use castor oil, you make a little pack. Now, this is not really a poultice, it's more a compress. So the beauty of this is the plastic isn't really touching you. So the only thing that's touching you is the paper topping.
It can dissolve clumps, nodules, and even adhesions. This is especially helpful for conditions like breast cysts and breast cancer. It's also highly recommended for soothing irritable bowels and is excellent for relieving constipation.
And the plastic is really just to protect your clothes and stop oil going everywhere, which you don't want. Castor oil is very thick and it takes a little while to soak in.
Dr. Barbara O'Neill believes strongly in using food as medicine to fight illnesses, helping people avoid hospital visits. She supports a holistic and natural approach to health and has many success stories from people who followed her advice. Today, she will share how everyday foods can be turned into remedies to address common health issues.
So I say to people, when you're using castor oil, pour it in and don't touch it for about half an hour, and that will soak in.
Castor oil is very versatile and can be used as a compress. Dr. Barbara suggests pouring a small amount of oil onto a napkin or towel. To avoid a mess, it's a good idea to line the side of the napkin that doesn't touch the skin with a plastic bag. This way, the oil won't stain your clothes. You can place the oil-soaked compress on the problem area and secure it with a cloth or bandage. The plastic doesn't touch your skin. It just protects your clothes from oil stains.
Now that's a really good area to put on the abdomen. Now if castor oil is applied to the abdomen, it will heal any problems in the abdomen. So what have we got in abdomen? For a woman, there's the uterus. So that will penetrate and break up fibroids in the uterus.
Castor oil is thick and takes time to absorb into the skin. Dr. Barbara recommends leaving it on for about 30 minutes to allow for full absorption. This method is very effective when used on the abdomen. For women, applying castor oil to the abdomen can help dissolve fibroids in the uterus and cysts on the ovaries. It can also soften the colon in cases of constipation or help restore it in instances of severe diarrhea.
Penetrate and break up cysts on the ovaries. That will penetrate and soften the colon if the person has constipation. That will penetrate into the colon and heal the colon if the person has bad diarrhea. The castor oil will go in and it will penetrate very, very deep.
The oil's ability to deeply penetrate allows it to heal the colon effectively.
Now the potato is a drawer, but the potato is very gentle. There are areas in the body you would not put onion, and you would not put ginger, and you would not put garlic, but the gentle potato. So where are those areas? In the tender parts of the body.
When you put a potato on your skin, it sinks in deep, cleansing and healing the area beneath. The potato acts like a sponge, but it's much gentler than other remedies. For example, there are places on your body where you'd never use strong ingredients like onions, ginger, or garlic because they're too harsh. But a potato? It's soft and soothing, perfect for sensitive spots.
Came out all by itself. Okay, so you just kind of squeeze a little bit and it sticks to itself. And then you can trim off anything extra you have. And then the potato poultice you can just leave overnight and then just keep doing the poultice. You don't want to be digging into wounds and digging into things, because you can use food and herbs and different things to naturally bring out things.
Think about the delicate parts of your body, like your eyes. If your eyes are sore or inflamed, maybe from something like conjunctivitis, or if you've sprained your ankle, Placing a grated potato on these areas can be very soothing. The potato's natural coolness helps calm any inflammation. Its skin contains phosphorus and potassium, which the body can absorb easily. Plus, its alkaline nature helps neutralize acidic conditions in the skin, cooling it down and helping to reduce swelling.
You don't have to be digging in with a needle, digging in with dirty, tweezers. You can end up with a bigger infection for doing that. So I just trim off this little extra bit or whatever. And this is a lot less invasive, especially for little kids. Especially little kids, if adults want to dig in themselves, that's one thing. It's hard to pin down a little kid. And kids think these little things are fun. So there you go. That could be used for a splinter, or even if you had like an oozing or kind of like a pussing sore or something like that. You could do this on the arm. You could do it on, like I said, if you had a wound. Actually, I'll show you an example of the wound.
But this isn't the worst part. Sometimes, using strong remedies can make things worse instead of better. That's why potatoes are a great option. They're gentle and effective. Using a grated potato as a remedy is simple but effective. To do this, grate the potato and wrap the shreds in a piece of plastic or leather. This creates a barrier that lets the potato do its work without making a mess. This method harnesses the natural healing properties of potatoes, turning a common kitchen staple into a powerful tool for physical relief.
2 cups of frozen pineapple chunks, which are loaded with enzymes and antioxidants, 1 banana that's high in potassium and will help to make this smoothie creamy, and the grated turmeric and ginger. Then blend that until it's nice and smooth.
Imagine the convenience. No need to buy expensive creams or ointments. You have a natural remedy right in your kitchen that can help with various skin issues. But wait, there's more. The potato not only soothes, but also helps with swelling and redness, making it a versatile remedy for many problems.
If you want a mild turmeric drink with a sweet tropical flair that will have you feeling good from the inside out, this is the drink for you. For an anti-inflammatory smoothie that doesn't include turmeric, but is still loaded with nutrients and antioxidants, I've got this luscious blueberry smoothie.
First, take a cloth and place it on a sheet of plastic. This will create a protective layer. Next, grate a potato onto the cloth, but don't use too much. Fold the cloth over the grated potato to make a bundle. Put this bundle on the affected area with the plastic sheet between the cloth and your skin. Make sure there's not too much plastic, as it can be uncomfortable. Use a bandage to hold everything in place.
Add 2 cups of coconut water to your blender, along with 2 cups of frozen blueberries, 1 frozen banana, half a cup of yogurt or kefir for beneficial probiotics, and you can use dairy-free as well.
This setup is great for reducing swelling. You can leave it on overnight or just for a few hours, depending on how bad the swelling is. Potatoes are good for reducing inflammation, so this method works well for a sprained ankle or an ingrown toenail.
So your eyes, it's very calming and cooling for inflamed eyes, conjunctivitis, sprained ankle. The grated potato is very cooling, so if you've got an inflamed red area, the potato, because it's high in phosphorus and potassium, the skin absorbs that.
Next, let's talk about ginger. This root is very useful and can be used both inside and outside the body. When you eat ginger, it helps reduce inflammation and can also help with nausea. If you have digestive problems or external inflammation, ginger can be a natural remedy to help ease the symptoms and support healing.
Now we're going to have a look at ginger. Ginger can be used internally and ginger can be used externally. Internally, it's an anti-inflammatory, but it's probably mostly known for its anti-nausea effect.
Don't forget, these are simple yet effective remedies you can try at home.
Now the easiest way I think to have this is to grate it. So you grate it on that little grater and you'll grate about a teaspoon and you put it in a little teapot and pour boiling water on it and let it sit probably 10 minutes. Now that might be too strong for you. If it's too strong, you just water it down a little bit. If someone's very cold, maybe they've been caught out in the cold or something and It's very hard to warm them up. Give them a cup of...
The easiest way I've found to make this is by grating it. Use a small grater and grate about a teaspoon of ginger. Put this into a small teapot and pour boiling water over it. Let it steep for about 10 minutes. If the tea is too strong, you can add more water to dilute it. This is especially good for warming up when you feel very cold, like after being outside in chilly weather. A cup of this hot ginger tea can really warm you up and is also good for nausea.
Avoid white bread, white flour, and gluten, and replace by gluten-free flour like almond flour, oat flour, brown rice, corn flour, tapioca, or cassava flour.
You'll also see ginger used in the flu bomb recipe, showing how effective it is. But ginger isn't just for drinking. You can use it on your skin too. For this, grate the ginger finely. Then, wrap the grated ginger in a light cloth or towel and put it inside a plastic bag to keep it from leaking. Place this ginger pack on the sore area of your body. For example, putting it on your lower back can help relax your muscles and reduce inflammation.
Number 2. Avoid white sugars, any kind of sugar or artificial sweeteners, and replace by homemade sugar-free jams or just plain fruit that already contains sugars. It takes time to retrain your taste buds to sense natural sugars in fruits, vegetables, or milk.
If someone has inflammation in a joint, like the wrist, ankle, knee, or even toes, applying this ginger pack can help a lot. Usually, putting it on around 6 in the evening and leaving it for about half an hour will make the skin feel warm, which shows that the inflammation is going down.
But once you train your taste buds without any added sugar or sweetener, you'll be surprised how awful it tastes when you add anything to sweeten your drinks or food. Number 3, avoid soda, pops, or any kind of carbonated drinks. Replace by water, homemade teas, freshly squeezed citrus juice like oranges, lemons, or limes.
This method gives you a natural way to ease pain and promote healing.
So it can be used for nausea, it can be used to warm a person if they're chilled or cold. And you saw too, it is one of the recipes in the flu bomb. Now we're going to look at what you can do with ginger externally. So if you apply this to the lower back, the heat relaxes the muscles, and yet the ginger is reducing the inflammation.
But this isn't the only benefit. Ginger can also be used for other health issues, making it a versatile remedy.
Now, if someone has an inflamed joint, say a wrist or an ankle or a knee or toes, we apply the ginger poultice maybe about 6 o'clock in the evening. And within half an hour, if there's inflammation in there, the skin gets very hot.
At bedtime, many people find warmth comforting, especially those with conditions like gout or arthritis. The gentle heat can be very soothing, especially for a sore lower back. Using warmth to ease discomfort has been known for a long time. It's a simple yet effective way to help those in pain.
And then the person has the choice when they're going to bed. Is that heat all right? Because if it's too hot, they can just take it off. But if it feels good to them, they can go to sleep. But when people have gout or arthritis, the heat is usually very, very nice.
Besides the benefits of heat, some home remedies use everyday ingredients like onions to treat different ailments. Onions are known for their healing properties and are particularly good for treating earaches and boils.
And the first one I'm going to look at is the onion. And the cooked onion, in my knowledge, is used for 2 main reasons. One is for an earache.
To use onions for healing, you can either steam or dry bake them. This helps keep their beneficial properties. Boiling onions is less effective because it causes the good stuff to leach into the water.
The other place that you can use a cooked onion is on a boil. Now you either steam it or dry bake it, because if you boil it, some of the healing properties in the onion will go into the water. When it's soft, you cut it in half, and what you can do is you can squeeze it, squeeze some of the juice from the steamed onion. It'll be boiling.
Dr. Barbara suggests using steamed onions for earaches. To make this remedy, steam the onion, then cut it in half and squeeze out the juice while it's still hot. After letting the juice cool a bit, you can apply it directly to the ear. This is known to bring a lot of relief. To keep the soothing warmth, you can wrap the onion in a napkin and apply it to the painful area, making sure it's not too hot to avoid burns. Keep the poultice warm for as long as possible to get the most benefit.
And when it hits the spoon, it'll cool a little, and then you can put that into the ear, and that can bring a bit of relief. And then you will put a little sheet of plastic over that, which will keep the warmth in, and then you could bandage it on the ear. As long as you can keep it warm, you can keep it there. If it starts to get cold, then the ear will ache. The onion will just reduce the inflammation.
Do you believe in the healing power of natural remedies like onions? Leave your thoughts in the comments, like, and subscribe for more intriguing health insights.
The second most vital element needed for life is water. You can go 3 minutes without oxygen. You can go a couple of weeks without water.
Water is vital for life. It's right up there with oxygen as one of the most important things we need to survive.
I always thought it was 3 days without water until I read a book called The Long Walk about some people who were escaping the Siberian work camp, and they were in the desert and they went nearly 2 weeks without water.
Without oxygen, we'd last only a few minutes, but without water, we could survive for weeks under extreme conditions.
Water is the second most vital element needed for life. In fact, where there's no water, you don't usually get people living, do you?
A book called The Long Walk tells the story of survivors from a Siberian work camp.
I don't like water. If I drink water, my feet swell. If I drink water, I'm going to the bathroom all day.
Who went nearly 2 weeks in the desert without water. This shows just how tough humans can be. Water does more than just keep us alive. Places with plenty of water thrive, while those without it struggle.
Tell me that the water's not getting inside the cell. So how do we get the water inside the cell? We have to go to the third most vital element needed for life, and that is sodium. The fourth most vital element needed for life is potassium.
Even so, many people today don't like drinking water. They say it tastes bad or makes them feel bloated or run to the bathroom too often. These problems often mean the water isn't getting into their cells properly.
We find the highest amount of sodium in seawater, and seawater contains 92 minerals. Of those 92 minerals,
sodium, another essential element, helps water get absorbed by our cells. Nowadays, many people prefer drinking sugary sodas instead of water.
Approximately 30% is sodium, and of those 92 minerals, approximately 50% is chloride. Now, because sodium chloride take up the most amount,
these drinks don't hydrate as well and can harm our health, increasing the risk of diseases like type 2 diabetes. A woman named Sarah Smith, at 42 years old, noticed a big improvement in her health and appearance after she started drinking more water. She began this habit to help with her migraines.
They're the first crystals formed when the water is evaporated. So what man does is he scoops up the first crystals formed, he bleaches them white, puts aluminium with it.
But found that drinking 6 bottles of water a day not only eased her headaches, but also made her look younger in just 28 days. But just drinking any water isn't enough. The kind of water we drink matters too.
So that it runs freely. And there's your table salt. Table salt is a dangerous salt because we now have 2 very harsh minerals that if you were to inject both of those into the blood, you would die.
Natural seawater, for example, has 92 essential minerals. Sodium and chloride make up a large part of these minerals and help keep our bodies balanced. However, most table salt is processed and lacks these beneficial minerals.
There's 2 harsh minerals and they need all the other 90 to soften them and balance them. The highest concentration of mineral inside the cell is potassium. The highest concentration outside the cell is sodium.
This processed salt can be harmful if introduced directly into our bloodstream. Dr. Barbara O'Neill has spent her career teaching people about the importance of water and mineral balance for overall health. She highlights how understanding and using natural resources can transform our health.
And in this bilayered membrane that is around every cell, there are sodium-potassium pumps. And these sodium-potassium pumps are ever going like this, maintaining the balance between potassium and sodium.
But there's more to this story. Despite the clear benefits of proper hydration and mineral balance, many still neglect these simple health principles. So why not start today?
But when someone's not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and that's where you get most of your potassium, and they're putting table salt on everything far too much, what happens now is sodium levels rise and potassium levels drop.
Drinking more water and paying attention to its quality can make a big difference. And don't forget, staying hydrated is not just about avoiding sugary drinks.
As we are about to get started, remember these are trace elements. Salt is not supposed to be a source of daily recommended allowances. Chloride. Redmond's has 913.8 milligrams, Himalayan 885.45, Celtic 693.75.
It's about giving your body what it truly needs to function at its best. Small changes in your daily routine, like drinking more water and choosing natural sources of minerals, can lead to significant improvements in your health.
Sodium. Redmond's has 568.6 milligrams, Himalayan 575, Celtic at 530.76. Potassium. Redmond's has none detectable, Himalayan has 5.25 milligrams, Celtic at 3.11. Sulfur. Redmond's has 3 milligrams, Himalayan at 18.6, Celtic at 11.19.
Dr. Barbara, an expert in natural medicine, loves teaching people about natural ways to improve health. She explains that staying truly hydrated means more than just drinking a lot of water.
Calcium. Redmond's has none detectable, Himalayan has 6.07 milligrams, Celtic has 2.92. Iron. Redmond's has 0.45 milligrams, Himalayan 0.058, Celtic 0.16. Phosphorus. Redmond's has 0.045 milligrams, Himalayan 0.0001 milligrams, Celtic none detectable.
It also means keeping a balance of minerals in your body to make sure the water is used properly. Today, most of the salt and food we buy is highly processed and lacks minerals, which messes up this balance and can lead to poor hydration.
So now sodium levels inside the cell are rising, which they should not, and the cell swells. What's that called? High blood pressure. The doctor is right. Table salt will contribute to high blood pressure.
Over time, not being properly hydrated can cause serious health issues like kidney problems and heart disease. Dr. Barbara asks an important question. Should we stop using table salt? Are there better options? She explains that inside our cells there's more potassium, while outside there's more sodium.
There's a French doctor named Dr. Lelangri, and he's written a whole book on salt. He said, when people come to me with high blood pressure, I put them on Celtic salt. Why does he put them on Celtic salt? Because Celtic salt contains 82 minerals.
A balance between these two is kept by sodium-potassium pumps in our cell membranes. These pumps work hard to control the levels of sodium and potassium.
Himalayan salt. In many places, Himalayan salt is a lot easier to get. There's about 75 minerals. So it's pretty good, but I prefer the Celtic salt.
But our modern diet, which is low in fruits and vegetables, high in potassium, and high in table salt, disrupts this balance. Too much sodium gets inside the cells, causing them to swell and leading to high blood pressure. Dr. Barbara mentions Dr. Alain de Lorgeril, a French doctor who has written a lot about salt.
And one reason is that the Celtic salt has 3 magnesiums. It contains magnesium chloride and magnesium bromide and magnesium sulfate.
When patients come to him with high blood pressure, he recommends Celtic salt instead of regular table salt. Celtic salt has 82 minerals and is hand harvested, keeping these minerals in their natural form.
Magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, and this explains why the Celtic salt is such a moist salt, especially when we've had a lot of rain, because those 3 magnesiums absorb the moisture.
What about Himalayan salt? It's often seen as healthy too. It has about 75 minerals and is good for you. But Dr. Barbara likes Celtic salt more because it has more magnesium.
And because magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, It can be used to help the water get into the cell.
Magnesium helps the salt hold moisture, so Celtic salt stays moist after rain. Magnesium-rich Celtic salt is important for staying hydrated. When you put it on your tongue,
It not only is required to get the glucose into the blood, it's also required to get the water into the cell. So it's sodium. It's the third most vital element needed for life.
the mucous membranes start absorbing the minerals right away. The magnesium then helps water move into the cells, improving hydration. Drinking water alone isn't enough if it can't get into the cells where it's needed. This explains why some people drink a lot of water but still feel dehydrated.
So when you take a crystal of Celtic salt, put it on your tongue, and some say, how big's a crystal? Well, if you've got high blood pressure, start small.
Choosing the right kind of salt not only adds flavor to your food, but also supports your cell health and overall well-being.
Put it on your tongue, your mucous membranes start absorbing the minerals, the magnesium is taken to the cell membrane, and you drink your water, and that magnesium pulls that water inside the cell. It's the quickest way to hydrate a body.
When individuals begin to increase their water intake, a common concern arises about the frequent need to use the restroom. To address this issue, it becomes beneficial to incorporate Celtic sea salt into the routine.
And again, the potassium is found in all your fresh fruits and vegetables. Calcium cannot get into the cell by itself, it needs vitamin D.
Of salt aids in enhancing the body's ability to absorb water more efficiently, reducing the urgency to visit the bathroom frequently.
The only time excess water drinking can be dangerous is if people drink too much at once and don't have the minerals that are in the Celtic salt to pull that water inside the cell.
It is recommended to add a small pinch of this salt to a glass of water before consumption. This method not only improves hydration, but also helps retain the water in the body for a longer duration.
So we should be drinking at least 2 quarts a day. At least, more if possible. Now at the moment, because you're having a steam sauna every day, I wouldn't be surprised if you've got a 0.8 of a quart loss coming out of your skin because you perspire profusely.
Such a practice ensures that the body remains adequately hydrated without the inconvenience of frequent bathroom trips.
If you don't have enough water, your digestion will be compromised. At every stage, water is needed for every body function.
Making the process of increasing water intake more manageable and comfortable. Many of us have heard we should drink about 8 glasses of water a day.
I've had people complain to me, they say, I'm drinking more water now and now I'm going to the bathroom all day. So I say, are you having the salt? Have a little crystal before every glass of water. And ideally we should be having approximately 8 glasses of water a day.
This advice has been around for a long time. It comes from a 1945 recommendation by the Food Nutrition Board, which said we should drink about 2.5 liters of water daily. But people often forget that most of this water comes from the food we eat.
I think I mentioned earlier, I drink half a glass as soon as I get up. I go to the bathroom, I drink another half glass. Then I get dressed and have another half glass. But when I start every glass, I have that little bit of salt. So you spread the water over the day.
Hydration isn't just about drinking plain water. Fresh fruits and vegetables, which are high in water and potassium, also help keep us hydrated.
Brain cells shrink when they don't have enough water. Headaches are common when we don't have enough water. Negative thought patterns can develop when our brain cells don't have enough water.
If you're feeling tired or hungry, drinking water with a bit of salt can give you a quick energy boost. It's more effective than a cup of coffee or a cigarette. Another tip is to go outside and take deep breaths near a tree.
Important point, if you're on the ketogenic diet, okay, low carb, if you're doing intermittent fasting, if you're doing prolonged fasting, boy, you better take enough sea salt or you're not going to feel right. You might end up with low blood pressure, you might end up with dehydration and overall weakness. And so it's not just about taking an electrolyte powder with potassium, also make sure you take enough salt.
Trees give off oxygen, and deep breathing can refresh your body, giving you more energy. This shows that staying hydrated isn't just about drinking water.
I can get my hand to go in and out like that without pain because around every joint there's fluid. And that fluid is synovial fluid, and it is 99% water. In a state of dehydration, the body can take some water from there to maintain full blood volume in the major arteries and veins.
It's also about connecting with nature to improve our well-being. Hydration also affects how well our brains work, since the brain is about 75% water.
I would recommend at least 1 level teaspoon per day for an average person, and that's without exercise. The sodium chloride in the sea salt also helps with your immune system, but the other minerals also help too. I mean, you have selenium, you have calcium, you have iodine.
It works best when it's well hydrated. Drinking enough water can improve your mood, memory, and energy levels. It can also reduce headaches, which are often caused by dehydration. But this isn't the worst part. Mild dehydration can make you feel anxious and tired.
All of these minerals are very, very important. I mean, it's pretty wild that people still use table salt, right? You have the anti-caking mixture in there. Sometimes they put a kind of a poor source of iodine in there. Sometimes they add sugar to the salt.
Keeping yourself hydrated can help with these problems and even prevent constipation. Drinking water with minerals like magnesium and sodium can help improve your bowel movements and relieve constipation.
And so one of the signs of dehydration can be constricted breathing. The blood gets very thick in dehydration. Our blood needs to be nice and thin so the heart can pump it easily, so that the little filtering units in our kidneys can filter it with ease. So water is needed for every single body.
Outro. Have you ever considered how much water you actually need daily? Like, leave a comment and subscribe for more.
Hair loss or alopecia is a problem that I often get asked.
All new at 11 now, a breakthrough solution for baldness. It's a bold statement.
But that's exactly what researchers say they're developing right now.
Made me feel really ashamed of how I looked, for sure. I'm Chris, I'm 29, and I started losing my hair at 20. It was kind of just rapidly, going instantly. I couldn't handle the thought of someone looking at my hair or touching my hair because of how bad it looked, and I was so ashamed of it.
Did you know? An estimated 52 million people in the United States are affected by hair loss.
We may not know this, but August is National Hair Loss Awareness Month, and with over 52 million Americans living with this issue, there's an urgent need for education and awareness.
Well, if you're losing your hair, you're definitely not alone, but soon you could be saying goodbye to comb-overs and receding hairlines.
Barbara O'Neill recently tackled a common problem, losing hair, also known as alopecia. She wisely pointed out that figuring out why hair loss happens is key to finding solutions. For example, O'Neill shared a story about a friend who started using chemical hair dyes at a young age to cover up graying hair. While natural options like henna exist, using harsh chemicals can damage hair follicles over time, leading to hair loss.
Well, one friend of mine, she always dyed her hair. Her hair, she was showing grey hair from a very early age, and so from about the age of 30, she began to dye her hair.
Research from the American Academy of Dermatology confirms this. A 2020 study found that some hair dyes, especially those with permanent colors, can contain chemicals that irritate the scalp and damage hair over time.
Now you can get a hair dye made of henna, and henna is a plant that can dye your hair, and that is not toxic. But my friend did not use that one. She used a chemical hair dye.
O'Neill also discussed the dangers of using harsh chemicals to straighten or curl hair.
And little by little, it was killing off her follicles where the hair grows. So it can be chemicals on the hair.
These chemicals typically break down the hair structure to achieve the desired shape. This can weaken the hair and make it more prone to breakage and loss.
Another friend of mine did not like her very curly hair, and so all her life, from probably about her late teens right up until her 50s, she straightened her hair. Now the solutions that they use to straighten the hair, or for people with straight hair that want curly hair, it is a very toxic chemical.
Studies support this too. A 2021 review published in the International Journal of Trichology found that repeated use of straightening chemicals can lead to hair breakage, hair loss, and scalp irritation.
So what happens is, If a person wants to straighten their hair, what the hairdresser does is pull the hair over great big rods like that.
The process involves 2 stages. First, applying the chemical to break the hair's bonds, and second, rinsing off the initial solution before applying another chemical to set the new shape.
And so the curly hair that's this curly, of course, gets pulled over them and that straightens it. But if a person's got straight hair and they want curly hair, well, the rods are that big and they stretch the hair around and around and around.
This method of perming, while effective in changing hair texture, can significantly damage hair over time due to the harsh chemicals involved.
So whether it's to straighten the hair or whether it's to curl the hair, they put this toxic solution on. It's a strong chemical, and what it does is it breaks all the little joints in the hair, because hair has all these little joints like this.
Barbara O'Neill further elaborated on the causes and solutions for hair loss, drawing from her personal experiences and professional background. She shared that her initial career as a hairdresser at age 16 gave her firsthand insight into the damaging effects of chemical treatments on hair.
So what it does is it breaks the joints, and then it's molded, of course, around either there for the curl or there for the straight.
During her time as a hairdresser, O'Neill frequently performed perms, which involved applying chemicals to alter the hair's natural texture, whether to curl or straighten it. She explained that these chemicals, when used repeatedly, gradually kill hair follicles, leading to hair loss.
And then, when all of those little bonds are broken and it's been stretched into a certain shape, they rinse off that chemical and then they put another chemical on to set it. So to set the bonds together, and then that sets the hair structure as straight or as curly.
She also noted that tightly braiding hair can have a similar effect, as the constant tension and weight can damage the follicles, resulting in hair loss around the hairline. O'Neill emphasized the necessity of addressing the root cause of hair damage to prevent further hair loss. She likened it to stopping a leaking tap before mopping up the spill.
Sometimes I see hair loss in a hormonal imbalance. So if it's a hormonal imbalance, then the hormones must be balanced back again.
For example, hormonal imbalances can lead to hair loss, and O'Neill suggested using Anna's wild yam cream to balance hormones and promote hair regrowth.
Sometimes high stress, if someone goes through a very stressful situation, one of the reactions can be hair loss.
Stress is another factor O'Neill identified as a cause of hair loss. High-stress situations can trigger hair loss, and managing stress levels is crucial for maintaining healthy hair. Additionally, she mentioned anemia as a potential cause, explaining that low iron levels in the blood, often due to heavy menstrual bleeding, can lead to hair loss. Addressing anemia by increasing iron intake can help mitigate this issue.
If a person is anemic, it can cause hair loss. So what's anemic? Anemic means very low iron in the blood.
She highlighted the role of hormonal imbalances, specifically mentioning that reducing estrogen and increasing progesterone levels can prevent heavy menstrual blood loss, thereby addressing anemia and promoting hair growth.
And anemia can be caused because of heavy blood loss at period time. A lot of women suffer from that, and that can cause anemia, and the anemia can cause the hair loss.
She further explained that low hydrochloric acid levels can also cause anemia, as this acid is essential for liberating iron from food. To ensure strong hydrochloric acid levels, O'Neill recommended consuming a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper in a little water before meals, or the juice of a lemon before meals.
So the causes of hair loss can be anemia, it can be high stress, it can be a hormonal imbalance, and it can be damage that's just physical damage that has been done to the hair follicles. And so depending on what the cause is, the anemia, you can strengthen the hydrochloric acid, balance the hormones.
She stressed the importance of not drinking water with meals to avoid diluting the hydrochloric acid and maintaining a relaxed environment during meals.
You can make a mix that you can put on your hair. And this mix is, let's make up the mix. So half a cup of coconut oil and half a cup of castor oil. Castor oil is a very thick oil.
She then offered a simple way to help hair grow back: a scalp treatment with healthy oils.
But castor oil penetrates deeper than any other oil, so when that is put onto the scalp, it penetrates even deeper. Coconut oil is a very nourishing oil. It's an antifungal oil, antibacterial oil. But what you also can put with that, so now you've got a cup of oil there, to that cup of oil you can add 10 drops.
She also suggested adding 10 drops of rosemary oil, which is good for the scalp.
You can make a mix that you can put on your hair. And this mix is, let's make up the mix. So half a cup of coconut oil and half a cup of castor oil. Castor oil is a very thick oil.
O'Neill said to mix everything well in a jar and massage it into your scalp once a week. This massage helps blood flow to the hair roots, and the oils soak in to nourish your scalp and make it healthy again. She suggested leaving it on for a long time, maybe on a day you're staying home, and then washing it out at night.
But castor oil penetrates deeper than any other oil, so when that is put onto the scalp, it penetrates even deeper. Coconut oil is a very nourishing oil. It's an antifungal oil, antibacterial oil. But what you also can put with that, so now you've got a cup of oil there, to that cup of oil you can add 10 drops.
After using the oil treatment, O'Neill said you might need to wash your hair a couple of times to get all the oil out. Use warm water and a good amount of shampoo. You might need to wash it twice to remove all the oil. Finally, O'Neill stressed the importance of avoiding a chemical called sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, that's found in many shampoos. This chemical makes shampoo foam, but it can damage hair follicles and cause hair loss. She advised checking the labels carefully, especially at stores that sell healthy products, to avoid shampoos with SLS. Instead, she recommended using coconut-based shampoos, which are nourishing for the scalp. Coconut oil's natural properties make it a beneficial choice for maintaining scalp health.
Exercise. What exercise does is it increases the circulation of the blood to the extremities, and the scalp is considered an extremity.
In addition to using the oil treatment, O'Neill suggested incorporating regular exercise into one's routine. Exercise, particularly high-intensity interval training, HIIT, enhances blood circulation to the extremities, including the scalp, which can promote healthier hair growth. She advised aiming for daily exercise to maximize these benefits. Hydration was another key point O'Neill addressed, emphasizing the importance of drinking enough water. A general guideline she provided is to consume 8 glasses of water per day for every 100 pounds of body weight. She highlighted that the scalp, like any other part of the body, benefits from proper hydration and nutrition delivered through the bloodstream. Exercise plays a crucial role in enhancing blood flow to the scalp, ensuring it receives the oxygen and nutrients needed for optimal health. O'Neill said eating plenty of fiber is important, along with protein from beans, nuts, and seeds. Our bodies use protein to build and fix things, including hair. She also said healthy fats from nuts, seeds, avocados, and olive oil are good for our overall health.
Myself, I prefer the taste of the olive oil. We had a Fijian cook for a while and they preferred the taste of the coconut oil. So whatever your preference is. It's a very concentrated food. You do not need very much, just a little bit, but it certainly can make food taste nice.
She likes olive oil because it tastes good, but coconut oil is good too. Adding a little of these oils to your food makes it taste better and gives your body what it needs.
We had big baked potatoes here yesterday. I opened my baked potato and I said to the cook, have you got a bit of olive oil there? Very nice to sprinkle a little olive oil in there and Celtic salt. Oh, it makes potatoes very nice.
O'Neill also stressed that getting enough sleep is very important for healing and feeling better. She said to try to sleep for 8 hours each night because rest is crucial for good health and hair growth. If you have trouble sleeping, try going to bed and waking up at the same time each day to create a routine that helps you sleep well.
Light or no evening meal, going to bed early, soft lights, soft music, fresh air coming in, nice clean, natural fibre sheets and pillows. All of this is conducive to a good night's sleep. And you will find that little by little.
To sleep better, O'Neill suggested making your bedtime relaxing. Go to bed early, use soft lights and calming music. Get fresh air in your room and use sheets and pillows made from natural materials. By doing these things, you can improve your sleep quality, which will benefit your overall health and potentially help your hair grow more.
Sleep is vital. The sleep is not negotiable. If you're not used to that much sleep, little by little by little, you can train yourself back into sleeping longer. Rome wasn't built in a day, but little by little by little, as you take those steps that are conducive to good sleep, breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen.
Overall, O'Neill's advice is to eat healthy foods, exercise regularly.
Light or no evening meal, going to bed early, soft lights, soft music, fresh air coming in, nice clean, natural fibre sheets and pillows. All of this is conducive to a good night's sleep. And you will find that little by little.
And get enough sleep to keep your hair healthy and promote growth. This approach considers your entire well-being, not just your hair.